changes with life expectancy. Good, good, you're on it. In other words, as life expectancy increases, so do the parameters that are considered middle adulthood. Does that make sense?
So then what is, so the middle adulthood would be from 34 or?
No. No, middle adulthood would be 40 to 60 now. 24, now 19, now we're talking 1900. Yes. Middle adulthood would be from 24 to 30, 25 to 34. Because why? Exactly. Because life expectancy at that time was 47, 49. Okay. So that's what I say is relative to. I mean, at some point, people may live to be 100. Or life expectancy at some point could go to be 100, right? That means middle adulthood would be what? In the 70s, right? He'd be 75 and be a middle adult. Does that make sense? Yeah. I know it's also your women. So what are you thinking about?
Oh, I was just thinking about if life if life expectancy increases that much, does that also affect what age group adolescents is in?
I suppose it might. It might, then it might change mandatory education. Right now it's mandatory 12. A lot of countries have mandatory 8. But at the same time, I suspect it may only increase, adolescents could stay the same. Well, in terms of if you don't change the level of education a person needs to have. Or it could change relative to that too. That's true because there's something like Daniel Boone's day. Anybody remember Daniel Boone, David Crockett? Any of those people? At 12, you're supposed to move out of your house at 12. So it could be. It could actually change. And like I said, back then they didn't have adolescents. Okay. So yeah, or even a new stage to go. And what's really amazing about this life expectancy increase, they're simple things. Antibiotics. How will it take some antibiotics at some point? Yeah, antibiotics. Example, 1940, if you're diagnosed with pneumonia, they just wait for you to die. There's certain death. Now you get pneumonia, they give you a Z-Pack on Thursday, Monday, you're back to normal. Does that make sense? Okay, kids step on a nail. You step on a nail at work, die 3 days later, tetanus. People did it all the time, didn't they? Now, what, you get a tetanus shot, don't you? Aspirin. Look at the number of people who died from fever. Napoleon, right? He could live 10 more years. Remember Napoleon Bonaparte? Yeah, okay. He could live 10 more years, maybe. If they had aspirin, didn't he die because of fever? Yeah, got a fever. And the temperature got over 100, what is before it causes brain damage?
105.
105. Temperature got too high, he died. Now you give somebody 2 aspirin or ibuprofen, and what happens? They're better. Or it wasn't unusual people to die even as late as 1950 with an abscessed tooth. Seriously, you get an abscessed tooth and it gets in your system. Next thing you know, it gets in your throat.
Well, it's affecting your entire body.
Exactly, you get a strep infection. And especially before they had antibiotics. I mean, people died. Does that make sense? So now the person who would have died of pneumonia got a Z-Pack and they lived an extra 5 years. Does that make sense? Or the person who has an abscessed tooth goes to the dentist, gets a root canal. I mean, it's easy to get the front teeth out, but the molars to get them out, that's really difficult. You know what I'm saying? That's why dentists, dentists weren't to say, oh, you had a bad toothache, you just pull it out, right? Okay, now they have all these advanced procedures, right? And so that's where the life expectancy is increased. Because I'll say that's the bulk of your life expectancy is new medical interventions. Bypass surgery. Heart and get the bypass. Now this person lived 20 years where they only should have lived 5 years. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. Life all this benefit. And so back to what we talked about yesterday, the way the cells divide with the potential would be 115. This one lady just last April died. She was 114. She was right up to her full potential, you know. And contrary to media hype, lifestyle plays a role, but genetics also play a role. Yeah, this lady, she smoked till she was 88. I think I talked about her before. Only reason she quit smoking because she forgot how to smoke. You know, in terms of, but I mean, and she lived to be 88. I know other people didn't smoke, drink, or even cuss and drop dead at 40. You know what I'm saying? So there's no guarantees. Even if you do eat the right diet, eat all the right foods, and do all the right things, there's still no guarantee, right, that you're going to make it. But the odds are better today. Does that make sense? The odds are better today. Okay, of course, your germs and viruses adapt too, don't they? Now they have these super viruses that come out, or these, what is it, strains of bacteria that are resistant to antibiotics. Yeah, MRSA's one of them, yeah. Where a kid falls down and gets a scratch, so much falls, gets a scratch, and they have to cut their whole arm off. Okay, little stuff like that. Yeah, that's one of the problems with turf.